Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 210. You know what we're going to be doing in this one, having a look at how the market developed, what opportunities we had this week, and most importantly, what we can expect for the upcoming week. Now, this week was incredibly choppy all the way until Friday, and I'm having an overall losing week. This one, luckily, I played it with low risk, so the damage is not very big. But it has been tricky because there have been some moves that arrived. But again, London was mostly choppy. New York did the move, but it was also tricky to get in. And also I finally settled in my new apartment. My trading setup is finally ready. I'll see if I can put a picture for you out there to see. And right now I'm actually recording on a bigger screen, which should turn out to be 4K. It's kind of a wide screen. So let me know, guys, if you actually like it, if it appears well on your screens as well, because if you don't like the experience of like 4K and a widescreen, I can of course go back to the regular one. So please let me know, share some feedback. Also, let me know how you did this week. Did you finish profitable? Did you finish unprofitable? How did you manage to battle with those choppy markets? Let me know. And of course, if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week, I'm going to be giving my best right now to be sharing an educational piece of content or a trading setups breakdown video. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notification bell, and without further ado, let's have a look at this week. Alright, as always, we're gonna get started with a Dixie to have a look how the dollar is moving overall, and of course try to forecast what we could expect for next week. But of course, we don't go forward without going to have a look at the overall news. So excuse me here, I have some black spaces to the left because I still can't figure out how to position all the screens and stuff, but I'm probably gonna put some logos or stuff to the left, so hopefully that's not disturbing for you, the black one. But pretty much on Sunday we're having what looks like to be a bank holiday, and then on Monday we don't have any major news, and it really looks like, which is kind of painful to say because we've been having choppy weeks so far in September, that we're gonna be having another very heavy one. So RBA on Tuesday, CPI for Canada on Tuesday, and then Wednesday there's the big gun on Wednesday, CPI for the GBP, Fed interest rates, monetary policy statement, economic projections, press conferences, and also these kind of projections right there. So Wednesday, it's gonna be crazy. Again, I can't think of it. Thursday, Bank of England, rate hike, rate cut, interest rate decision, and all of that stuff. Swiss franc, interest rate decision, GDP for the NZD. Friday, JPY interest rate decision, right? And then we have a lot of those HCOB composite PMIs for Europe, and also for England, and also for S&P Global Manufacturing PMIs for the US, right? And daylight savings time is also coming, all right? So very, very, very heavy this month so far. I mean, we had the interest rates for the euro last week. We had CPI for the dollar last week. It didn't really shake the market up until Friday. But again, knowing that we're actually having the Fed next week on Wednesday, and we also have Bank of England and Swiss franc and JPY, I do believe we're going to be having a tough time this week. But of course, the key is to keep showing up, keep looking for your setups. Now, what did the Dixie do this week is pretty much it continued to impulse into the highs. Once again, we're breaking this weekly structural level. I'm just gonna mark it with a 4H right now, but of course we are gonna do it like that. So weekly time frame break, and we're making our highs. So again, you always ask yourself, right? So a very big lesson that I learned very recently is to start paying a little bit more attention to liquidity, right? Because the market moves from a liquidity point to liquidity point. So what has been done most recently? Well, we took out that weekly high, right? And when the market makes a higher high, it tends to pull back to form a higher low. Why? Well, because above this high, there's a lot of liquidity being absorbed, and usually the market is going to continue going down. But if it doesn't immediately start like reversing, then most likely there is something else that it's targeting, and I do believe it could be that high right there, 106 round handle, around 105.90. So very good liquidity area right there. So is the market gonna drive towards it and then reverse, or is the market gonna start reversing this week? We don't know, but so far we're having 8 weeks of bullishness, so that is pretty significant. Now jumping onto the daily time frame here very briefly, like during August we had a daily shift, then we had a daily shift up, and just to again stay with the most recent price action, we're having a daily break right there. So again, let's not confuse ourselves. Daily break right there, making that kind of Monday flushed a little bit. Where did it go? Most likely we tried to forecast this during the previous weekly outlook and setups. We had an imbalance filled perfectly on Monday, perfect imbalance filled. And then we kind of consolidated on Tuesday, consolidated on Wednesday, then the news came out, we broke structure, and then on Friday we chopped around a little bit. So currently, the most recent valid range is from this low to this high. So we can of course drop a little pip on the daily time frame. What else do we have? Is we have a little bit of an imbalance right there that could definitely be filled. And right now, keeping this in mind, we could expect the market to open a little bit bearish, maybe to fill a little bit of that imbalance and then continue. But also looking at how the forward time frame looks like. I mean, look, this is the price action we work with this week until Thursday. So we had, what news did we have on Thursday? I can't recall pretty much, but this is currently how the daily range looks like, and pretty much the forward range starts from here to there, which is very much resonating with the daily time frame. So again, the most recent demand zone on the forward is exactly right there. That is the high that could potentially be broken. So if I talk about scenarios, as I always do, you can also see your imbalance right there. It's also very clean on the 4H. So you can just take it like that on the 4H, right? So talking about scenarios, first scenario will be an amazing pullback to fill the imbalance to potentially even tap the POI, then a lower time frame alignment, and then first continue going long. The second scenario will be for us to break structure above, right? And then of course we're gonna see whether we're gonna continue or whether we're gonna potentially like start reversing, and pretty much that's it. Okay, that's it. Again, you know, I always preach flow with the markets. Don't try to forecast way too much. That is what we have right now. Weekly is bullish, daily is bullish. They are all extended. All right, so they're all pretty high, but as I keep saying, nothing is too high until actually the market shows you that it wants to reverse. And with this very beautiful bullish push right there, we could definitely look for some continuations, but once again, be aware that a lot of liquidity is taken to the left, and I do expect the DXY to pull back. So let's see if it's going to be this week during the interest rates. And of course, keeping that bullish dollar in mind, let's see how the other pairs are looking like. All right, let's have a look at Euro USD, which has been a nasty boy this week. There were quite a couple of losses, hence why we definitely avoided trading EU this week. And luckily, I did not take a lot of trades on it. So where are we on the weekly time frame in terms of it? Well, we're traveling towards this very important low right there. And we did actually took it on Friday. Okay, so I didn't really reflect on Friday's price action, but we finally took out that weekly low after aligning bearish on the weekly right there. So again, as I told you on the Dixie, if you remember, when the market breaks structure, it usually tends to initiate a pullback. And you can see here on EU, we had these 2 weeks of a pullback, right? It was just throwing wicks to the upside, right? Filling in a little bit of imbalance on the daily maybe. But in terms of the weekly, on the DXY and on EU, we haven't had a pullback, right? So why didn't the pullback initiate from here? Well, most likely the market is right now targeting this liquidity. It just got it taken, like unlikely DXY that got taken this high like 3 weeks ago. EU just did it. So again, right now, can we start expecting a potential pullback higher? We definitely could. But again, don't expect nothing until the market actually shows you it wants to commit there. Because again, we drop to the daily time frame. There is the most recent daily break. Damn, I need to make a template for a daily break, right? So there is the daily break right there. And of course, similar to the Dixie, that is our daily range, but the market just took that liquidity spot on and immediately kind of created a little bit of a daily pullback yesterday. And yeah, currently the forward time frame is also very, very clear. So again, like we were working with this, it was very hard to break down because again, like we had this, that was a trend change, but it was with a very nasty wick. Then we have like this, that was also a break. Then, of course, the question was this a valid range? No, it was not. We had a very long discussion on our Thursday's webinar with the Fanatics, and we managed to find a couple of opportunities and, of course, practice on that. There was a long ride there that I attempted to take, but there were like, it was just wicking down, wicking down, wicking down, while GU provided the beautiful long, but EU was choppy as hell. Pushed up, failed to break, and then we just crashed to the downside. So again, just to stay with the most recent price action, this is exactly where the trend change occurred, because again, we're trading between this low, this high, pullback, tried to push, failed, then this immediately becomes liquidity, but by the time it became liquidity, the market just smashed through it. So I'm gonna draw a 4-hourly range right there. I'm gonna take a very nice supply zone right there. I'm immediately gonna identify the overall imbalance that is right there, right? And pretty much that's it. So again, if I talk about scenarios, right, we can definitely continue pushing lower, right? Maybe even grabbing more liquidity and reversing, or maybe we're just gonna continue. Who knows? The scenario that I would much prefer is for us to have a 50% pullback and like at least to fill the imbalance to the open, lower time frame alignment, and a continuation to the downside. And pretty much that's what I expect. Of course, we could have like a big choppy price right there. So of course, never exclude that possibility. But looking at the market like this, that is what I'm going to be looking for. Preferring shorts, but also being very well aware where the market is, that it took a weekly low, a daily low, and then of course a potential bullish pullback is imminent. So that is Euro USD bearish bias. Now, let me show you the trade I took on Euro USD. That was on a Monday. So once again, as I just explained to you, right, we had this bullish break right there. So I was bullish targeting that high. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't manage to make it, and I didn't manage to get into trades on EU for a whole week. So here again, like we reflected on Thursday during our webinar why this trade didn't work out. And again, I'm going to share this with you guys. It's mainly because of liquidity. So again, you can see since the market opened, which is right there. So around Sunday, there it is. The market pushed up, higher low, high, highs and highs and highs. Asian highs taken, all of these highs are taken. So the market opened really bullish. So usually with just a simple pullback without taking any liquidity, the market cannot continue going higher. But why I had confidence in this is because I'm going to drop to the 5-minute right now, because I was trading from this demand zone right there. And because there was a lack of liquidity, I decided to wait for the 5-minute. And what the 5-minute did is it took structural liquidity right there. Why is my line like that? It took structural liquidity right there. And then also after tapping the zone, it created a trend change. And then a lot of traders got stopped out on this low. And also traders trying to trade from this little zone right there, they also got the stop loss. And as I saw later, this very nice bullish TC, right? I just waited for the re-entry, for the retest. And of course, I waited even for a lower time frame alignment. The market broke down, TC it up, retest. That is where I took the trade, stop loss below. Then as the market chopped around, I started kind of doubting once again. And I was like, yeah, man, like look at that bastard. So what I did is after this trend change and after the retest, the market pushed down. I was like, I'm just going to reduce my stop loss because again, why would I keep it open? Again, so I reduced half of my position to the stop loss. Again, with the EA I use, you can set partial stop losses. Got stopped out on the partial one, consolidated, TC it up once again. I wasn't really looking for re-entry, pushed up. At that time, we had a new 5-minute break, so I went break even. Tapped the market at break even, reacted again. I thought it's gonna go, and then yeah, it came in and swept the liquidity. So the result on this one is a very minuscule loss because I took this trade with half risk and I get half stop loss of the half risk and then a break even. So it's like a quarter loss. So that's my first trade for the week on EU, and pretty much that's it on EU. No other trades because this pair was not developing nicely, but of course I had some on NASDAQ, US30, GU. Let's go forward. Well, another week of consolidation for the Euro Yen. It has already been 5 weeks of the market not moving a lot. And of course, the explanation I try to find for this is pretty much within the pair itself, right? So as you know, the euro against the USD is very bearish and USD against the Japanese yen is very bullish. And in order for Euro Yen to move, they both have to be moving in the same direction. So Euro USD has to go down, USD JPY has to go down in order for this one to go down, right? So this usually cannot happen, which is why we're usually getting chops on the JPY pairs, which is why I never trade them. And of course, just to remind you, interest rate decision and monetary policy statement on Friday for Bank of Japan. So hopefully this one is gonna give us some momentum. But yes, again, just to recap, we're having a weekly structure break. So weekly is bullish. Transferring to the daily time frame, we had this very recent break up, and then we had this wick down, and then we have this kind of, yeah, this, because if that was the high that caused, we had this wick up, Yeah, I mean, even the daily doesn't make sense. So why would I even look at this pair? They just took out the low, took out the high. It's all wicks. There is no commitment. There is no momentum. There is just no confidence to say, yes, this market is bullish or bearish. So took out the low, took out the high, returning back. So I can't really say it's bullish. I can't really say it's bearish. So again, you could find some intraday opportunities, but as I always say, guys, if you don't get the macro right, so if you don't get your hard time frames right, yes, it is most likely possible to be profitable just trading, like, because I get this question a lot. Is it possible to become profitable trading 5-minute time frame? Well, yeah, if you trade like a robot, if you take like 10,000 trades and you have like an edge, if you like trade with momentum or something like this, maybe, right? But true trading, I believe, is always going with the hard time frames and of course doing your homework. So here we had a quality break, and again, immediately after the break, guess what the market does? It whoop comes back down and creates a bearish break, right? We had the same right there. Market made a low, lower high. That is the only short that I see actually. That is textbook, right? So we actually came back, we retested the supply that caused this break lower, right? And we actually made a lower low. Wow, congratulations. Then we broke up, lower low. So right now it actually looks good again. So if Euro USD is going to continue going short, and if maybe USD JPY gets a little bit of weakness, maybe we could get it. But actually right now, Euro Yen is in a very good positioning for a potential short, because we have this hourly range. The imbalance is filled. We are definitely above the 50%. And yeah, so pretty much right now you could be dropping on the 50-minute time frame and waiting for your intraday setups. So I'm gonna say this one looks very short, but again, I don't want to also say, because the market can just open and it can just whoop, go up and again wick some sort of a high. Okay, so what I'm gonna say once again, this one is definitely bearish. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna open on Monday. Maybe it's gonna push up, take some more liquidity. Then if you get a lower time frame alignment from this hourly supply, it's most likely gonna be a bump short trade, because it looks very good. But usually when a trade is very bump, it tends to hit stop loss. So again, don't get excited. And of course, the next opportunity is to potentially just for the market to dump, and then you can try to follow continuations. And of course, there is always a third scenario of the market either chopping around or then just doing something completely random. Okay, so that's Euro Yen. Definitely looks bearish, looks good, but I also just want you to zoom out a little bit. As I have a white screen right now, I can definitely see a lot of the picture. And look at what we're having right now. Is this a trending market? Not really. It's just wicking up, wicking down. We want to see something like this. We want to see clear. We want to see something like this, right? So this is very, very beautiful downtrend, very beautiful uptrend, very beautiful downtrend, uptrend, right? It's still kind of chopping on the bigger picture, but at least it's making nice trends. Right now, we're just taking this consolidation, but as I keep saying, intraday, you can definitely find some setups. So let's see if we can go short on Euro Yen. Next on the list are the Aussies, which haven't been playing out very nicely. As you can see, like on the weekly time frame, which pretty much summarizes what has been happening like in the around a month or so, we have like 4 weeks of a consolidation, which is pretty much like around a month of a consolidation. So there is no clear downtrend, there is no clear uptrend. It's just consolidating, and once again we can try to potentially presume or try to forecast what the market could do. Well, most recently we had a break of this low. Then again, you can see we actually did have a little lower low right there. The market wicked it out. But this week we're also having like an inside bar on the weekly time frame. So that truly signifies consolidation. So what is the most likely direction of the next weekly candle? Well, I would say I would definitely think bullish, because again, we took out a low. We again took out 1 weekly low. We took out 2 weekly lows without taking any high at all. So I do think we can pull back a little bit. There is like not a lot of imbalance right there to be looking at, but at least we could throw a little bit of a pullback before maybe continuing lower. But of course, that depends whether the Aussie dollar is weak. And then dropping onto the daily time frame, well, yeah, I mean, this is what we have, like this little liquidity grab right there. Again, is it a liquidity grab? Is it a break? Well, just looking at how the markets, how the candles right there behaved, it does look like a liquidity grab to me, because it chopped for 3 days and then whoop, bullish and go, then whoop, a pullback, maybe a quality higher low. And then we continue going higher. So, I mean, we are about to encounter this daily supply, which we're already reacting from. But yeah, if you break this one, then that could definitely mean a potential daily reversal. So let's see, the daily is starting to look a little bit bullish. So maybe if the hourly time frame has aligned. No. So the hourly time frame is actually exactly this, the same range as the daily. Hourly high, hourly low, Yeah, these are equals, and daily high, daily low. So this one is actually still bearish. And again, you can see the market came in, filled the imbalance, reacted, but look at the way it reacted, like chop, 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 chop. Then it came in again, grabbed this liquidity right there, tried to react, failed, came in again, reacted, came in again, reacted. So is it gonna flush? Is it not? I don't know. But again, guys, this one is a little bit tricky because once again, just to make sure that you understand, we're trading within this very big range between this high, making it red, and this low. So everything inside is internal. So in theory, right, technically, you cannot say, yeah, this is a breakup, this is a breakup, then yeah, this is a breakdown, because all of this is internal of this high to this low. All right, so keep this in mind. And yeah, pretty much, I'm not sure what I can say about it. Of course, there are pretty much two scenarios. We can either flush because the market has generated enough liquidity gaps within the zone without actually breaking it. And looking at Friday, right, we had a very nice up and then a very nice down. That causes also an internal break, as I told you. You can look at internal breaks, but technically not very correct way. Or we could potentially shift, break that daily high and align bullish. So once again, Aussie dollar, very, very, very tricky. And yeah, on the 15-minute, it's just nonsense. So I'm not touching this pair at all until it starts trending. So again, guys, let me know if you're trading the Aussies. Aussie JPY, it's a full skip. So I'm not even gonna have a look at it, because just to remind you, we're trading between this daily low and this daily high. We haven't exited this range for 88 days. And on the hourly time frame, we're trading between this hourly low and this hourly high, and we haven't exited this range for 45 days. All right, so we're coming in very close to the top right now. All right, we're getting away from the low, coming very close to the top. But once again, just look at that. And again, you could, because if you're really zoomed in, I mean, if you really zoom in, you can look at the market like this, right? So yeah, like break down, break up, down and up and down and up. And right now it's in an uptrend. Sure, that's like trading the most recent sentiment. But again, you always have to zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Like this is what is happening right now. So just trading this market is not high probability. So as always, I'm looking for either for a breakup or for a breakdown before I even start considering this pair. So Aussie dollar, a little bit better, but not that much. Aussie yen, complete scratch of the pair list. Well, I'm gonna be short and sweet with the NZDs because they're pretty much similar to the Aussies, right? For around 4 weeks right now, we are chopping at the bottom. We kind of look like we made a little bit of a pullback. We follow through to the downside, and there looks like to be even a little weekly break with a body right there. And then this week through a little bit of a pullback, which is also an inside bar. So definitely looks very bearish. But as I keep kind of trying to forecast, there is a potential imminent pullback on all the USD pairs. So again, is it going to happen this week with the interest rates? I don't know. That means like if we have a bullish pullback on these, that means that the Fed must not hike the rates, right? So let's see how that's going to work out. Daily range on NZUSD from the high to the low, we pulled back above the 50%. We can draw, of course, a daily zone, something like this. Of course, name it as your daily zone, and the market tapped inside. But again, you can see on the daily, like for 4 days, we're just up and down and up and down and up and down. So no clear direction and nothing. And then, of course, dropping onto the hourly time frame, it's exactly the same as the Aussie. But in this case, this here is our hourly high, 4H. And that's our hourly high, and that's our hourly low right there. So yes, we're still bearish on the daily. We're still bearish on the 4H. But yeah, you can see it just doesn't move. So I see a couple of scenarios. We either go lower, break the low, and then from there we're gonna see whether we can follow continuations or whether the market is gonna reverse. Second scenario will be to come in to grab liquidity deeper inside the zone and then maybe see if it's gonna continue or if it's gonna, right, make a trend change and then continue going down. So I mean, those are the scenarios I see, but again, nothing is for sure. Let's just wait for the market to open. Let's see what it does. But again, this is how I look at the market. It's overall bearish on every single time frame. So of course, shorts are high probability. But if you think in terms of liquidity, yeah, we are a little bit too low. Taking weekly lows, taking daily lows, like chopping a little bit about around the bottom right there. So again, for how long it's gonna go down? Well, as I keep saying, keep shorting until you're wrong. Because when the market creates a trend change, then you know, all right, the market is ready to go long. And that is when you start trading with it. NZD yen, not even gonna look at it once again. Hourly low, hourly high, probably 45 days once again within this zone. Yep, 47 days. Wait, Don't trade internal. Don't try to trade this internal because you're going to be like up and down and up and down and up and down and you're going to keep losing. So don't trade this, okay? Nice, simple. NZUSD looks a little bit much better for shorts, but NZD-JPY, complete scratch of the pair list. All right, let's have a look at USD Yen, which is, as I keep telling you, the DXY, but for the JPY pairs, because wherever USD Yen goes, this is where all the JPYs are going to be driven to, okay? So if this one is bullish, that means that overall, like everything here, XXX JPY should be bullish, right? But if XXX USD is bearish, then of course, this is what I explained to you on Euro Yen, the correlation doesn't work, right? Let me know if you actually don't understand this. I can make a video on that, trying to really wrap it around your heads. But yeah, we have been bullish for quite some time right now, since we had this weekly alignment, bullish right there. Then of course, if we zoom in, we had a little bit of a liquidity grab right there because we kind of came in, whoop, wicked, massive bullish reversal. And then of course we went on, continued higher highs. This week we pulled back a little bit, but still maintained the bullishness and closed with a very strange candle at the top. Dropping on the day, yeah, the day was heavily bearish right there within this range, but then slowly made its way to the upside, pushed up, pulled back, higher low, higher high. Here we had a little bit of a sweep on Friday, 1st of September, the sweep. And then of course we came in and we broke that daily high, which looks like to be our most recent range, until the market is just right now causing a brand new daily break. Okay, so these are daily breaks. Again, I need to make that daily template, and I'm actually gonna make it right now. So there it is, daily break. So technically the daily range is from this low to this high, and pretty much the bias played out very nicely. I'm not sure, because I don't monitor USD Yen, I'm not sure what I said last week, but I hope I said longs, because the market did pull back, 50% tapped, imbalance filled, and right now it followed through and it took out the daily high. After a high stake, and what happens? We initiate a pullback. Okay, so let's see also how this one is broken. Like, is it gonna close with one more body above? Is it gonna make some imbalance? Or right now, is the market just gonna open and print a big bearish candle, which could mean that maybe the market is too high and we might attack this low. But so far, bullish. And then yeah, I mean, look at that. I don't like these. I always hate these because you have like this very massive push down and you think, yo, the market is shorts, right? But then it pulls back on the daily, right? It came in to fill in this imbalance right there, right? And then it just slowly made its way to breaking this high. Well, if you don't monitor again the big picture and you solely trade the void, which is again what I used to do, and then I wonder, well, my void was bearish, but why the hell did the market reverse like this and break this high? Well, daily was bullish, daily pulled back, and again, higher time frames will always prevail. Okay, so right now, if as we have like this hourly break right there, and we also have the daily break right there, we have to zoom in and ask the question, where is our higher low formation? Well, it's this one, according to me. So not that little guy right there. Again, I'm not sharing my rules, but again, you can look into it, you can study it, you can try to find very specific rules about it. That is the higher low formation according to me. So that's the hourly low, that's the hourly high. Let's wait for the market to pull back. We did have imbalance on the void that is already filled. So the market could definitely just rock it up. And then let's see what it's gonna do. Or the market can pull back 50%, tap inside the zone, lower time frame alignment, and then we go long. Okay. So that's USDN. Nice, plain and simple. Keep in mind, we have made a weekly higher high for quite some time right now. We're making a daily higher high right now. We're making a hourly higher high right now. So again, the higher it goes and the more highs it breaks, the higher the probability of a potential pullback becomes. Okay, so again, we definitely long until we are wrong. But if you start getting shorts and if you start getting bearish flowery structure, then of course we should be aware the market could start going down. So right now, bullish bias, those are the two scenarios. Let's see how it works out. And of course, stay tuned for Tuesday's flow with the market. Time to look at the GBPs. We're starting with GU, which had a very nice development actually, but somehow I failed to catch those shorts, right? So let's have a look what is happening. We had a weekly break. We're having a weekly trend change. Again, the market did throw a little bit of a pullback. Where is the most recent liquidity? Right there. So you can see EU is already taking it. The XY took out the high, but GU is still traveling towards it. So very important zone right there. You can see we are just being attracted to it, and we don't initiate any pullback until we actually get into that zone. So again, you can see then as the weekly is traveling towards the low, at that time the daily is taking liquidity. So again, if I just show you a little exercise you can do, after we took out that daily low, the market initiated a pullback, right? Then we did have this daily low right there. The market took it, made a little pullback. Right now we have this daily low right there. Let's see how the market takes it. Like, can we take this or that one? Well, yeah, both are possible, but most likely this one. So let's see if it takes this one. It's gonna make a pullback until it finally goes to that weekly liquidity. Right, very important. So daily time frame absolutely bearish, but you can see once again, like on Monday bullish, Tuesday and Wednesday complete chop, then Thursday made the move and Friday made the continuation. On Friday I tried to catch the shorts, but guess what, it moved in US session, and on US session I was building up my setup and desks and stuff, so I wasn't on the charts. But again, lower low, so what we can expect right now, we'll pull back. I do not like that there is no imbalance on the daily, something to potentially consider for a potential pullback. And yeah, then on the forward time frame, this is the price action we work with most of the time. Right? Chop, 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 wick down, pull back, and then we drop. Then we made a clear pullback on Friday, and I was looking for that short. Happened, but unfortunately, actually took a stop loss on it. So there is the forward break. There is the most recent forward supply zone. The market already threw a little wick inside and went lower. So yeah, this is pretty much like actually the news right there. So Friday down, up and down, and then wick down and wick down, and it's just crazy, right? So what can I expect on this one? Well, again, judging by liquidity, I mean, we could potentially take a short by having like a little pullback within right there and then continue lower. If we go down and take the liquidity, then I would expect a daily pullback, right? So GEO right now, it's not very 100% because usually when the market is at a lower low or a higher high, then you don't know what to expect because it could continue, it can initiate a pullback, it can chop around, we don't know, right? But right now, those are my scenarios for GEO. A lower low formation, but we already threw a little bit of a retest. But can this retest also act as a structural liquidity? That will be definitely very possible. So let's see if the market is going to come back, tap this one out, and then potentially continue. But again, guys, keep in mind, if we come back down and take liquidity, then expect a potential daily pullback. And of course, the daily range is much bigger. It starts from here to maybe here after the liquidity grab occurs, and then you might have a forward trend change for the market to pull back on the daily and then a line down again. But of course, I'm gonna keep you updated. So that is GU. Overall bearish bias. Let's see for how long it goes, and let's see how we can tackle it. And let me show you my trade on Friday, trying really hard to catch that short. By the way, there was a massive short. I think only 2 members of our community took, but one of our rules was not met on that day. So which day it was this short right there on Thursday, or it was yeah, it was that short right there. So there were setups this week. There were setups. This short, beautiful right there. And then the next short here, I think it didn't provide an entry. And then yeah, here it also didn't pull back. So it was tough. It was tough. But this short right there, we had some members taking to the downside, which was lovely. But again, I was also shouting the trade live, and we're waiting for that liquidity grab, because again, I don't trade without a liquidity grab, but unfortunately it wasn't provided. So there's my trade on Friday, getting very nastily swept by this very nice push, feeling like a retail trader, taking out my stop losses, and then it actually goes to target. Of course, guys, it is what it is. The market just decided to move a little bit late. Could I have gotten in again? Well, not really, because when the 50-minute shifted, it kind of threw a little pullback. Definitely there could have been a way, but I wasn't on the charts at that time. Just wanted to quickly trade London, but broke Asian high right there, and then it chopped around. Then we had an alignment both on the 50-minute and both on the 5-minute. So I actually took this trade with a 5-minute confluence, because I saw the accumulation. The market pushed up, pulls back, higher low was still holding in right there, but then we have this pullback and then we drop. Beautiful. So I saw that the momentum is potentially gathered. The market did pull back, and also there was a 1-minute one minute liquidity grab, but there was no trend change. So I kind of waited for this little internal one. So like on the way down right there, I took the trade. Then it came for a pullback. I still kept the trade above the 5-minute high, and then the market did a trend change again. So I thought, okay, that could potentially go, but just as it did the trend change, it hit stop loss. We took the stop loss with a lot of members of the community because it was a pretty good trade. And yeah, then you see what happens later. The market dumped. So we were, again, technically right with the bias, but we didn't get the entry, which happens. We move on to the next. Okay, so that's GU. short ideas next week. Let's see how it goes. GJ being a JPY pair, but it does move a little bit better. We're having an overall bearish week right there. So again, weekly low to weekly high. We're traveling towards that 50%, but we're still far away. Going on to the daily. What's the daily doing? It's quite compressed. Daily high, daily low. That's the low right there. It got broken right here, and then we had a little bit of a pullback, and then we're starting to wick the daily lows here again. Yeah, not very nice, not very nice. I usually like to see clear body breaks nowadays because all those wicks, but again, we see like the market broke with a wick, pullback. It looks like it followed through and again broke with a wick again, and right now it's returning back with one of these daily candles. So it's gonna be very key to also monitor the Forex in this case, because the Forex is going to dictate whether we go up or down right now, basing it on the daily. But yes, I mean the hourly range, sorry, is this, from this high to this low. We're tapping inside this kind of base supply, which is not really a valid lower high, but it's a very nice supply. We can just refine the zone like this, not make it so big. The market tapped in, it's reacting. So again, like in terms of scenarios, the market could pull back. And then if you get a lower time frame setup, then definitely do so. If the market breaks lower, then of course you are either going to see whether it's going to continue or whether it's going to reverse. So this is where the market is right now. It's kind of in the middle. After it pushes above premium, then it's dipping into discount. So technically the short trade should have been right there. Yeah, this one very nice actually. GU provided a short. Well, this one just whoop, massively wicked up. Never aligned bullish, bearish, sorry. Then it pushed up, tapped, cleared inside the zone, actually did take some structural liquidity right there. And let me know if any of you guys called this short. I mean, if you just want to get into the trade, you can get in from here. Stop loss above 20 pips. That is more for a swing target. And of course, you can target the lower lows right now. So the question is how it's going to play as it opens. Is it going to continue to flush lower so we can follow the 50-minute ranges? Is it going to like initiate a pullback so that we can wait for a new 50-minute trend change to go down? I don't know, but so far the bias is shorts, and we can potentially try to forecast that it could attack this low. Okay, so that is the most recent price action. Let's see how it goes. But overall, short sentiment on both GBPs. Let's see how they're going to play out. They do look good though. Next week could be big for gold because again, gold usually moves in accordance to the US dollar, and next week we have a lot of USD news, pretty much interest rate projections and all of that sort of stuff. So gold could be making the move next week. Now in terms of the weekly time frame, that's the weekly high, that's the weekly low. The market pulls back to tap inside weekly supply, reacts, but again it reacts, it hasn't yet flushed crazily, it just reacted, right? So what is gonna happen next? Well, we're about to see. Dropping onto the daily time frame, let's see how the daily time frame developed this week. Again, I don't monitor gold intraday, but that looks like to be the daily high right there. So because we're trading between this daily high and this daily low, the market came in and swept that daily high, right? And then the daily low that caused the daily high break was this, and the market then came in and swept that daily low. And right now the market is most likely going to come in and sweep that daily high that actually caused this daily low. So also I see with gold on the daily time frame, there's a lot of sweeps, doesn't really hold from structure, but again, it just by observation, usually like body breaks work really good on gold. So keep that in mind, because again here, like that was the daily high, but it came in 3 candles of sweep. Then the market went down, 1 candle of sweep followed by a massive engulfing candle. So I can definitely presume, I can definitely see that this high right there could be taken and then maybe reverse. So again, keep that in mind. But yeah, the daily is 50-50. Not entirely sure what is happening right now. And then of course, dropping onto the 40 time frame, well, we had like this very nice correction, massive breakdown, pullback. Then we chopped around right there. Since Tuesday morning, the market just dumped. Then we chopped around, then we came in, we took out that daily low, and then we immediately aligned bullish on the Forex. And right now, the trick is that the hourly range is this. That's the hourly range. That is right there, the hourly demand zone. So the hourly is bullish, while the daily is bearish, and it's most likely going to be taking out that daily high. So gold is always tricky for me to forecast because it's very volatile. It's very kind of uncertain a little bit. So I'm a big believer for gold, like you just gotta be into the zone and you just gotta like flow with the current sentiment of it. But again, if I give you examples, scenarios, well, take out a high, initiate a pullback, But of course, as it takes out this high, you gotta pay attention whether this is a new four-hourly higher low. Because if that is a new four-hourly higher low and then the market makes a four-hourly trend change, then you can go short based on the weekly and daily direction. Okay, but if the market initiates a pullback and dips below the 50% and feels this imbalance right there, then you can look for a long. But if the market creates a higher low right there, causes a structure break, then of course you either see whether it's gonna continue or whether it's gonna reverse, create a trend change, retest, and then continue lower. So there are my 3 scenarios on gold, right? So again, guys, you just gotta see what's gonna happen. And there is always the third scenario of the market chopping around and doing all sort of nonsense. So that is gold. I do favor shorts a little bit more, but also if the DXY decides to that it's too high and it starts to pull back down, then definitely gold could start going up as well. So again, be careful with the shorts, be careful with the longs. Keep in mind, like again, this is where the real move initiated, right? You can actually see all of these breaks right there are with wicks. This is a weak break, that's a weak break. The market pulled back. It actually came in to fill in this very big imbalance right there. And it filled it twice, like first, second. So again, just basing it maybe on the monthly time frame. If I just quickly check on the month. Monthly time frame is from here to here. So overall, gold is bullish, but again, it really depends on what is happening intraday. Intraday is right now bullish, but of course, let's see how it's going to play out. And let me know in the comments, where do you think gold is going next? What is your analysis? Feel free to also share a chart. Why not? All right, let's jump into some indices. So the more I look at indices, the more I trade them, the more I start to fall in love with them. So you're definitely going to be seeing me more trading indices and also breaking them down. Now, US30 on the weekly time frame, there is the most recent weekly break. So again, let's just make sure we have the markups right. Weekly break, what is the market doing right now? It is pulling back on the weekly, tapping inside this overall kind of range that initiated the market to push up, then it pulls back, it held. But again, you can see after this bullish reaction, the market chopped around for 2 weeks. So again, slightly bit uncertain about where it actually wants to go. This week's candle is looking like a nice doji, but pretty much that whole rejection happened on Friday. Okay, so let's jump back to the daily time frame and have a look at how the daily time frame is looking like. So pretty much how I was looking at this market, first of all, like we could have 2 different ranges. That is the low and that is the high. Then of course we had that imbalance right there that was way below the 50%. The market perfectly filled it. But according to me, there was a trend change right there on the daily, then there is a daily break, then right there is a daily break. So what I also thought, what I really liked about this pair being actually bullish is that here we had a daily alignment after the market filled that daily imbalance, right? So after that daily alignment, what did the market do? It formed a new imbalance. It came in, filled it perfectly below the 50%. And then I actually thought we were going to be attacking this high. Right, but again, you can see Mondays choppy, Tuesday choppy, Wednesday choppy, Thursday had a very big push up, finally actually aligning the 4-hourly time frame to become bullish, and then on Friday we just dumped like crazy, and I tried to short it, but I took a stop loss and I wasn't present during New York, so unfortunately I did miss this move. So very sad, but we had one of our mentors, he caught a massive, even more than 10-hour trade. So the 4-hourly range, according to me, was exactly here. So as you can see, like the 4-hourly time frame was very tricky. US30 was the only index that did not turn bullish on the 4H because we're trading between this high to this low. But then you can see intraday, we kind of climbed up and climbed up and climbed up. And yeah, we're taking the highs, taking the lows. Very tricky. But then we came in with this very big momentum, but we tapped inside this zone right there. Right, and pretty much this is why we were looking for shorts. But again, just to clarify what we're doing in right now, we're tapping inside that 4-hourly demand zone. And right now it's very key to see, are we gonna break this or are we not gonna break it and hold and then attack that high? So very, very important, because if we do break it, then we're gonna be focusing on shorts, because if this daily low or if this weekly pullback, if this low failed to cause a weekly break, then it could become liquidity. And then right now, if we aligned like bearish on the 4H very nicely, and if also like the daily, well, the daily cannot align bearish because the daily range is from here to here. But first of all, like that is the most recent liquidity we could take, first of all, because if this daily low fails to create a weekly high, then it's big liquidity. But then if this weekly low fails to create a weekly high, it could also be liquidity. So I see if this market shifts the sentiment to bearish, liquidity 1, liquidity 2, big long-term targets. But again, first of all, I really need to see whether this quality break is going to happen. And then of course, I'm going to be looking for imbalance fills or just flowing with the markets towards that first liquidity point. If it does not, then of course, let's see if it's going to react. And then of course, we can slowly start making our way up to the daily high. So there are the two precise scenarios on US30. We just need to see what's going to happen, because I really don't like this move right there. Massive move up, massive move down. Doesn't tell me a lot, right? So wait for the news as well. Let me show you my trade on US30. Yep, there it is. So again, we're tapping inside that very big supply, and here we had a 50-minute trend change early in the morning. So again, very early in the morning. Really sucks I didn't get in right there. There was a 5-minute entry right there, but it is what it is, right? So again, had a similar example on GU this week, had a similar example with US30 this week. Again, guys, it happens, and I'm here to show you that, again, not every week is perfect, not every trader is perfect, and sometimes you don't have luck, or it's just the market. It is what it is, right? 50-minute break, also causing the Asian high break. 50-minute TC down alignment. We pull back inside. I immediately drop to the 1-minute time frame. Damn, that screen is big. Seeing a lot of price action right there. The market came in, grabbed the liquidity, 1 minute up, 1 minute down, took the trade from here, stop loss above the 5-minute. I took my morning coffee right there, looking at this market for around 16 minutes. Was a very big wake up, because it just looked up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then it came in and did this nasty thing. Stopped me out, right? Then the market created a 5-minute trend change. And again, I was pretty convinced that this market is gonna flush. So in that little retest, I took another trade with a rather big stop loss. But then push down, retest, push down, retest, push down, retest. Then the market came in even deeper, then made a TC down. And it was at that time that I was looking to decrease my stop loss. But then the market retested, then reacted down. So I'm not exactly sure when I went break even. So was it after this TC, or was it some of those breaks right there? I went break even. So the result of this trade right there is a break even, and the result of this trade is a loss, right? So loss and a break even on this one, I'm not sure. But it was very funny. We had our mentor who took very precise 2 stop losses exactly at the top right there. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of it, but that's my US30 performance. And then pretty much the trade, it came in a little bit later. 50-minute break, 50-minute TC down, lower high, lower low, lower high, and just dropped like crazy, right? So very, 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 very sad that I didn't take this one. Because we have one of the entry models that I'm very hard working on right now. We have a couple of guys we're working on. So there it is, 2 entries right there. And pretty much one of the entries that was taken by our mentor was something like that, right? And yeah, he pretty much swing it. I think he swing it for 10 hour, like the imbalance right there. But that trade was extremely big. So yeah, but again, I took a loss. I'm fine with it. On to the next one. Again, falling more in love with indices. You're going to be seeing me trading them more. But yeah, that is US30. Very important to see what is going to happen from this area. So once again, stay tuned for Tuesday. And on to NASDAQ right now. Let's have a look at NASDAQ. So let's focus on what is happening right now. So on the weekly time frame, we have been rather bullish on the tech index. We had a weekly break up. And then we do have this tricky, but doesn't look like to be entirely a break. It almost closed below, but again, I really don't like seeing this, like not closing below and then immediately launching in the opposite direction. But of course, we can just keep that in mind. We can tell it it's a break, and then we can draw, of course, that weekly supply, because we're just about to, we just tapped inside. We had a little reaction. So weekly time frame, it had that very recent kind of alignment, but to me, it looks more like a liquidity grab. So I'm most likely gonna stick with the longs, right? Dropping onto the daily time frame, so not very clear. Of course, let's try to break it down. So the daily time frame had this very big push up, and that is exactly where the market aligned bearish on the daily. You see, I made my daily structure breakdown. Then of course the market went in and created a daily structure break up. I have to change them up a little bit, they're not perfect. Daily structure break up, came back to retest, filled in the imbalance, beautiful. All right, so that was just beautiful, spot on long. The market then, what it does, it comes on and creates another daily structure break. And what is the current kind of state of the market? Well, we're having a daily bullish range, daily low, daily high, imbalance that the market, there is not really one, that the market already filled. It tried to react, but right now you can see in terms of the daily, it's kind of chopping around. So is it truly reacting from this weekly supply? Is it truly going to go down, or is it just going to come down a little bit deeper and then potentially rocket higher? Well, we can't forecast that far back in time, but of course, let's see if the volatility time frame has some answers for us. Well, the market came in, and after filling this imbalance, we immediately formed a volatility trend change right there. Then the market came down and it wicked this low, but look at how it wicked it. Like it came in, whoop, and immediately reversed higher. So if you see this sort of pattern, you can automatically start expecting for the market to go in the opposite direction. It went in the opposite direction and actually closed with a body, which could signify that potentially, like, yeah, the market could be bullish. That was, according to me, the higher low formation. But again, you can see on Friday with that indices drop, we actually did have a break. So if I just look at overall at it, again, not very clear, overall consolidative, okay? So just to recap, once again, that is the low, that is the high right now. We are having an overall bearish structure on the 4H. So again, if you remember, US30 is still bullish, but NASDAQ right now actually lined bearish. So I see that bearish sentiment coming in on the indices. So let's see how NASDAQ is gonna go. The most likely target right now is this. So the question is, are we gonna first take out this high and then initiate a pullback, or are we first going to initiate the pullback and then take out this low? Sorry, this is a low, not a high. So if this scenario develops, I will be going definitely big on shorts, but if it first takes out the low, then you can start looking for longs as well. So that is NASDAQ overall short bias right now, but again, depending on how the scenarios go, if we first take out the low, then be careful because we can be initiating a pullback, and you can also be taking some longs then. But if we initiate bullish first on the weekly open, then focus on the shorts, because most likely that low is going to be liquidity. And again, heavy news ahead of us, so don't try too hard. I did take a trade on NAS, which was once again just listening to my rules. As I told you at that time, that was the volatility break, and that was the volatility demand zone. So the market came inside that demand zone. Again, trading from volatility demand zone is always high probability, but again, knowing what this week is, trading before news right there, a big mistake. Again, I told myself not going to be rushing it, but luckily I was trading with low risk. Took out the Asian low, beautifully aligned bullish on the 50-minute. It came back, retested the demand zone, and let me see where it is. There it is. And guess what? Yeah, we came in, liquidity was grabbed. 1 minute breakdown, 1 minute break up. Whoop, on this push, on the next candle, I entered from right there. And stop loss, I'm not sure what I did, but I saw that my stop loss was taken at exactly this precise point. So I'm not sure how did I place it, but there was a difference between my broker and TradingView, because my stop loss was somewhere right here. And I can see that on TradingView there was a break lower, but on my broker there was not a break lower. So I survived this, but I most likely got stopped out right there on the market pushing down. So yeah, this was a stop loss for me. Again, luckily half risk, not really going big this week, but yeah, that's my NASDAQ trade. Once again, very sad with it, because it was one of my first trades, I think, on NASDAQ, and it was a loss, but I promise you guys, I'm gonna start killing this bastard right there. So that is NAS, bearish bias. Let's have a look at S&P. S&P 500 moves very similar to NASDAQ. I mean, I find after observing indices for a significant time right now, not a lot, but again, I've definitely done my homework, is that S&P usually does move a little bit more together with NASDAQ. And US30 is usually the one that is kind of going a little bit different. But right now, in terms of the weekly time frame, we are kind of technically bullish, because we have like these little two pullback candles right there. So you can either take like this is your lower higher low, and then higher high, the market pullback, react it. It's not really showing us a lot of conviction to go up, right? It definitely does have a lot of space to be filled to the downside right there. So on the weekly time frame, even on the monthly time frame, not entirely clean. So again, we're yet about to see whether we're going to start pushing lower, or we are going to continue breaking weekly highs. Now let's try the daily. The daily could definitely offer us some insight, because here we had like a daily break, then we had a daily breakdown, There it is. And yeah, then we have a daily breakdown, and then there is a daily breakup right there, just following the structure until we get to the most recent one, in which there it is. So that was the daily lower high, right? You can see the market came in, reacted from that daily lower high, but then, and at that time, I do believe NASDAQ had changed bullish. So again, the thing with indices is that they move differently, and like one is gonna make a break, one is not gonna make a break, and usually they all end up aligning together. So, but it's still tricky for me, I'm still observing it. Came in, reacted, failed to make a new lower low, then whoop, made the daily alignment, and currently daily low to daily high, very similar to NASDAQ. So if I just go back to NASDAQ, there it is. But again, you can see NASDAQ did break the high right there and provided a long trade, but SPX was still bearish at that time. So that is the trick. That is the trick. Low to high, pulling back below the 50%. The market tried to push, it fails, which automatically means that this could become liquidity so that we can head lower to fill in that imbalance right there. So that is a very high probability for liquidity right there. So if I jump on the FOH, let's see if this one aligned bearish. So we had like this breakdown, then we had a bullish fall alignment right there with a wick, higher high, higher low, higher high. And let's check it out. Yeah, so there is the bearish alignment right here. Yes. So yes, we do have a bearish alignment. So once again, similar to NASDAQ, I mean, that is the current quality range. I would love if this pair pulls back and then it dumps, because if it pulls back and gives me a short, I'm definitely going to hold it to these liquidity lows right there. Of course, probably not, because again, news are incoming. You don't want to go that hard on the market, because again, forcing your opinion onto it is only going to cause you pain. But yeah, this is pretty much my analysis right there. There is no clear like zone to draw. Like maybe you can try something like a 12-hourly time frame. No. I'm just going to stick to the FOH. But yes, there it is it. Nice and simple. If it starts bearish and comes in and feels this, then I will be looking for longs from here. Yeah, because again, a lot of liquidity is taken, and then I'm going to be looking to trade the pullback. So there is S&P, nice, clean, and simple. And if we also just have a look at the fear and greed index, we're pulling back to neutral right now. And we have been neutral for some time now. You can see on the timeline, like we're chopping around. So there is uncertainty going on. And usually being at 50% is not a good place, because we can either start heading higher or we can either start heading lower. So again, the expectations, we don't have much expectations, but again, usually S&P moves very nice with 100, with the 200 MA, 125. I'm not sure why they use it like there, but you can see that it's way above the mean for quite some time, and right now it's starting to come together. So I mean, is the market gonna dump, or is it gonna consolidate for more time so that the MA comes to tap it? We don't know, right? But I do expect more downside looking at the sentiment, but also like we just don't know what's gonna happen with the interest rates and with the overall market sentiment. So again, don't throw your opinion on the market and just flow with it. Okay, so that's the S&P. And just to finalize, let's throw a little bit of a recap. Now, Dixie, again, it depends on how it opens, but we're overall bullish on the index. However, the market is getting a little bit extended. So again, are we going to break higher and continue higher? Are we going to take the liquidity in reverse? Or are we going to initiate with a pullback and then push higher? Let's see how it goes. Euro yen bearish so far. Sorry, that's Euro USD. Euro USD bearish so far. We had this very nice break to the downside, but we took a very important daily liquidity. So right now, again, is it going to continue pushing lower right now without pulling back to the 50%, or is it going to provide us with a pullback, fill of the imbalance, and then a very big short? Let's see. But overall, short bias so far. Euro yen also short bias, because the most recent quality break is here, pulling back into the zone. Let's see if it dumps. Aussie dollar, I avoid trading the Aussies right now because they're very choppy on the higher time frames as well. Aussie yen, definitely. NZDs as well, like both the NZDs and the Aussies, both NZUSD and AUSUSD are bearish right now, but both of them are just chopping around, so not very high probability market to trade. USD overall bullish so far, but the more it keeps breaking highs, the more a pullback is potentially imminent. But again, that is the most recent quality range, so if it pulls back and gives a long, definitely go for it. But if it starts pushing higher, then you have to flow with the most recent ranges. GBP USD and GBP JPY are both bearish. That is the most recent range on GU, so if it's gonna pull back and give us a short, or if it's gonna attack the liquidity first, right, and then provide us with a long trade. Let's see. Right, it really depends on how it opens, so stay tuned for Tuesday. GJ as well, like it already threw a reaction from that quality zone, so it's gonna continue going lower, or is it gonna pull us back into the zone so we can catch another long? Only the market will show us. Gold, It's tricky right now, bullish on the 4H after taking like this daily liquidity low, but I'm gonna be personally waiting for the interest rates to really see what is gonna happen. US30, very key positioning. Is it gonna break the 4-hourly low, or is it gonna hold from it and push higher? I do believe it's gonna break the low. Why? Well, because Nasdaq has already broken it and it's becoming bearish, and S&P is already broken it and it's becoming bearish. Both Nasdaq and SPX have a liquidity target to the left on the daily, an imbalance. So if they both start with a pullback, then definitely I'm going to be focusing on shorts. But if they first take the liquidity, then you can take the counter trends. So that's for me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Give me some feedback on the new resolution and stuff. Let me know how you performed this week, and stay tuned for Tuesday. Love you all, and talk to you in the next video.